Hello neighbors, it's Brad here at Etrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Roadmaster Sterling All-Terrain Tow Bar. So not only are you going to get a lot of the components for your flat tow system with this tow bar, you get this channel in here to run everything nice and tidy. It keeps all your cables just a lot cleaner. If you didn't have cable management like we have here on our Sterling, you would have your umbilical running across here as well as your safety cables, and keeping it in the arms of the tow bar is really nice because it's right there when you need it to hook up, and also when you stow your tow bar also. It's going to keep everything nice and tidy. It's just one less thing that you'll have to wrestle around with every time you hook up your vehicle. Now, a few things that make this a great option for a lot of different people is going to be the weight capacity. It's rated at 8,000 pounds, so today we have it hooked up to a Jeep Wrangler, no problem for towing that down the road. And also, if you ever go to a larger vehicle, 8,000 pounds is pretty large. You can really get a pretty decent sized truck, as we're starting to see more and more of those in a flat tow setup. So this can hold up to that. Just make sure that checking the weight of your vehicle. Something else that I recommend to anyone picking any tow bar is get a non-binding tow bar. The tow bars of yesterday kind of had an issue when it comes to unhooking the vehicle. And the way a tow bar works, as you go down the road, these arms are going to extend, locking in place, and that keeps the vehicle basically tracking down the road straight. The problem is when you go to unhook it, that becomes an issue. So I'll undo ours here just to kind of show you what I'm talking about with non-binding. So as I mentioned, as this extends, it is going to lock out, and that's going to keep this arm in place. With your binding, you generally have to have it on perfectly level ground for this to unhinge and draw the arms back. And a lot of times you'll see people out there hitting their tow bars with a hammer to get it to release, or having to buy a special tool. That's not the case here, because the non-binding feature means it doesn't really matter what direction it's in. It's going to be able to unlock it however you need. So even putting a little pressure on here, I just pull this, that's going to allow you to draw that arm back. And also just the touch points of the handle, it's really nice. It's got a nice rubber coating on here. Seems small, but for something that you're going to be handling quite often, it really does feel good. And that's kind of the standard for Roadmaster, is really high quality products. Speaking of quality, this is made in the USA, and they use awesome components to build this out. So our arms that extend out are going to be stainless steel, so that means even throughout elements, any road grime, anything like that, it's not going to rust it long term. So that's really cool. Again, a lot of times these are going to sit on the back of your RV and see all those road elements, so to be able to protect that is definitely key. So stainless for those arms, and the rest of the tow bar is aluminum, which is really nice because it kind of keeps it a little bit lighter weight. This one's about 35 pounds, so if you are taking it off your RV consistently, it's not too terrible to move. Now the full aluminum body is aircraft aluminum, and again, this goes along with that stainless of being rust proof long term, so it is going to hold up. They also have a nice powder coat finish on it here, giving it a good look, and you got some nice little decals, making it just really pop. It looks really good overall. There's also no maintenance required with this tow bar, so there's nylon bushings where our inner arm goes into the outer arm, which is going to make it a nice smooth actuating as you pull it out, and long term it's not going to break down. You don't have to worry about greasing it. The Sterling's arms are also longer than average tow bars, which is really nice for a few different reasons. It's going to give you a better turning radius as you're going down the road, as that vehicle is just kind of extended back a little bit. It also makes it a lot easier for hooking up your vehicle because the arms extend a little bit more. That window of how far you have to pull up, or really making sure that you're right there where you need to be, can be extended because you have more arm to work with. I'll go ahead, I'll back up our Jeep and show you exactly how long these extend out. So we have our Jeep locked in place like we'd be going down the road. So this is really what it'll look like as you're flat towing your vehicle. And from the center of our hitch pin hole to the center of our pins, it's 50.5 inches. So it is rather long, which is, again, it's going to just track better. But something else that I'll point out, we have a high-low adapter here on our RV just to match the height. And that's something you may want to look at as well, measuring the base plate and the hitch height on your RV. It needs to be within a 3-inch variance. So if you do need to account for that to get it nice and level, you can pick up a high-low adapter. And normally when you do that, you are extending it out a little bit, and sometimes you run into issues with cables being too short and having to add extensions, and that's not the case here. The cable that they give us is a straight cable for our diode wiring, but we still have plenty here. So even in full lock turns, I don't think we'll have any issue with that cable binding, which is really nice. We also have these safety cables. They're a hybrid style, so they're coiled on this end, which I really like. That really gives you that extra length if you really need it. But being straight up here means that it's not going to wrap around and become kind of a mess up front. So I really like the combination of the safety cable and umbilical that's included. Now, if you are pretty well versed in tow bars out there and you've paid attention to those on the road, you may notice that this looks very similar to the Roadmaster Nighthawk, which is definitely the premium cream of the crop tow bar out there. This is almost identical. There are a few differences, obviously the color of the powder coat finish, but one of the main things is that Roadmaster Nighthawk has the LED strip here, which is cool. It does light up, but if that's not something that's really that important to you, this is a great way to get all the same features and the bang for buck that you would with the Nighthawk in maybe a package that works out a little bit better on the pocketbook. Now, with that being said, the umbilical is pre-installed on the Nighthawk to get that LED function. You do have to install the plug, which I showed you earlier. Not a big deal, but overall this is a fantastic tow bar, and I think this is one you could buy and really keep for the entire flat tow career of your vehicle or RV. Now, to get this hooked up to your vehicle, we'll get the RV side set up first. So we'll get our diode wiring plugged in, and then we'll take our safety cables and make sure that we're crossing over and attaching these to the safety chain loops on our hitch. We also have our breakaway switch here for our braking system. So we'll go ahead and fold this down and get it hooked up to the vehicle, and that's easy to do. Just a spring-loaded latch here. You'll pull this back and you'll see this large bolt head. That's what keeps it in place. So just release that down. And then we have our included pins. These are specific to Roadmaster. So we have Roadmaster ends obviously on our Roadmaster tow bar, and the base plate we're hooking up to is a Roadmaster as well. So this all works together. But if you have a different base plate, maybe a Blue Ox or a Demco, not to worry. You can actually get the adapters that are going to allow you to work with any base plate. But since this works out really well for us, there is a specific way that you need to get these pinned up. It's going to slide through, and you'll see that the hole here on the end of the pin is going to allow us to get our linch pin put through, keeping our pins in place. We can attach our safety chains. We'll get our breakaway switch also ran there to our breakaway switch. And then when it comes to the diode wiring, something I'll point out that this one has included is going to be our 6-pole. We already have one installed here on our vehicle, but if you're starting new in the flat tow of your vehicle, it's your first time, picking up all the components in one package like this is really a great way to account for a lot of the things that you'll need. And that's going to be a 6-pole, which is going to be necessary for your diodes to work. And the fact that this comes with it is really nice. And as we saw already, it comes with the umbilical and safety cables. So you're really checking off quite a few things on the list of things you'll need for your flat tow. We'll go ahead, we'll get this diode plugged in. So with that all being said, let's take a look at how it folds and stows on your RV. So just as we hooked it up, we're just going to do the reverse order, get everything unhooked. Now folding it up, I just draw the arms together, and we're looking to put this bolt head right in that spring-loaded latch. So as I raise it up, you can kind of just move this side to side until we get that to latch in place. And once latched, you can audibly hear that. You know that it's going to be in this stowed position. And at this point, you can choose to put it to one side or the other. So if you don't want to block your ladder access, you can put it to this side. Or if you have any other components that you need to get to, you can flop it to the other. No big deal. Now, if you are planning on keeping this on the back of your RV, something that you might want to take in consideration is getting a tow bar storage bag. It just slides over this and it's going to protect it. Again, this is going to be, rust proof. So you really don't have to worry too much, but if you want to keep it looking nice and all your connection points looking clean every time you handle it, that's a good option to get that tow bag. It also looks really good. And with all of this cable management, it's nice. It keeps everything clean. You don't have to bundle those wires up, but that tow bag is just going to kind of keep this all together. So again, this is where that cable management really comes into play, because the alternative is all your cables being loose and you're going to have to store those somewhere. And that was a look at the Roadmaster Sterling all-terrain tow bar.